Hey, Jacob. Did you tell me that everybody on odds went over 500 this year? Yeah, look at that. 53%. That's good, right? Look at that. Odds couple. Okay. Odds couple making the people money. Couple of 55 wins, couple of 54 wins. We good. I was good in the NFL. I was abysmal in college. Let's go back through and check. At 2024, 27 and 23 in the NFL.
Oh, I didn't even realize we started.
That 2023 was rough for you, boy. I was 16 and 33 in the NFL. 37 and 29 in 2022. I was 67 and 52 overall that year. Goodness.
You got your notepad?
For?
Song.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
I want to preface. I don't like when I enjoy listening to Chris Brown to start my morning.
He's got bangers.
God, Fine China is a perfect song.
Fine China.
Fine China. I especially don't like listening to Chris Brown sing lyrics like, "It's all right, I'm not dangerous." It's all right, I'm not dangerous.
He is dangerous, though.
When you're mine, I'll be generous.
No, you won't. Like, that's a lie also.
Irreplaceable, a collectible, like Fine China.
Yeah.
Great song. I enjoyed it greatly.
And you asked, at one point last week, we were arguing about Kelly Clarkson. You were like, yo, what's the last Chris Brown song that you cared about? And I forgot entirely about Fine China.
Yeah,
that was
there were
recent.
a lot that I cared about.
There were that's recent.
It's not that recent.
Like 2020s, wasn't it?
2013.
Oh, never mind.
I was in college. What's up, everybody? It is Friday. It's the last day of January. We finally made it to the end of this month, January 31st. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, the Grizzlies finally beat the Rockets. They got it done last night at FedEx Forum. We'll have the highlights. We'll have the reaction. Memphis Tigers got a win over Tulane last night as well. Double the wins, double the fun. Lang Whitaker will join us about 20 minutes in. We'll talk to him. Jaren Jackson Jr., officially an all-star for the second time. Some stories from around the NBA, the sports world that we'll get into with Lang. Big news as Nashville is trying to get a WNBA team. We'll get into that, some crazy women's basketball scores and play from last night. We'll end with a little Music Friday, what we're listening to going into the weekend. The Grammys are this Sunday. We'll get into it all. You know what we say. TGIF. TGITLBJ. Thank God it's the last day of January.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball. But the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Memphis Cat is back with his Heaven on Earth tour.
I tried to be incognito, but thanks to Shannon Sharp's loud mouth, the gig is up.
February 22nd in the FedEx Forum.
In my spare time, I infiltrate the Illuminati. Look for their secrets. Run back. Tell y'all.
Don't miss this year's most talked about comedy icon live. He's back with brand new material, an unmatched wit, and an electrifying performance. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
It's your turn to drive into luxury at Southland Casino Hotel. Join us on Saturdays to win your share of up to $1 million in free play and prizes. And don't miss the chance to take home luxury itself during the grand finale drawings. Drive off in a 2025 Land Rover on February 1st or a 2025 Range Rover on March 1st. 2 vehicles, 2 finales, 1 million ways to enjoy luxury only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Dusty May was at Florida Atlantic last year. Tonight you'll watch him coach at Michigan. So why do I care if a football player decides to leave one place where he's making whatever money to go somewhere where he's making even more? It's what most coaches do every year. So I cannot stand it, and I mean can't stand it when the coaches sit up there and act like these young people are doing something wrong.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
For the sunshine, gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Happy Friday, everybody. CJ, I had the strangest dream last night.
What?
It was so weird. I dreamt I was here until midnight. Really? Yeah, but it's okay, because I finally watched the Grizzlies beat the Rockets. Grizzlies Rockets at FedEx Forum. They say if you hug Memphis, it'll hug you back. Not like that. Oh, it's 2-time All-Star Jaren Jackson Jr. going at Dylan Brooks. Sorry to that man. He's not stopping Trip. Grizzlies playing from behind early. They trailed 68-58 at half. Quick and easy way to get back into a game is when the best three-point shooter in the association gets so hot you could call it arson. Luke Kennard in the opening minutes of the third hit 3 threes. He ended with 22 points in the game. Grizzlies had made just 2 threes in the entire first half, and then they're making shots like this. No, yes! Bank from Jake LaRavia. Grizzlies trailed going into the fourth, down 113-105. Desmond Bane, hello Dylan, hello Steve-O, hello Bucket. Double-double Des with 24 points, 12 rebounds. Jaren had to sit for a bit with 5 fouls. He's back, and the congregation said, Amen. Not the rocket, the blessing that has been the play of Jaren Jackson Jr. for this team. Final 90 seconds of this game were a little cuckoo. Jaren goes up and over Tari Eason, pulls Grizzlies within 1. So it is 119-118. 16 seconds, Van Vliet misses the 3. Jaylen Wells, what you say? Nothing. Taylor Jenkins said nothing. He did not call a timeout, but the whistle was whistled. The ref went, whoopsie, made an oopsie. So it's Grizzlies ball, it's Jaren and Dylan again, and that's a foul. A friendly one? Sure. Argue with your fridge. Jaren made the free throws to give the Grizzlies the lead. Van Vliet took a 3 down 1. That is a choice the Grizzlies will take. Cue the skip to my Lou as the Grizzlies win 120-119. They did it, CJ. They did it. They did it.
I'm surprised you didn't grab any of the confetti. It felt like one of those
Was there confetti last night?
Yeah, the confetti
I'm
fell.
sorry, I
It
have
felt
no
like-
recollection.
It felt
I was
like one of those moments, though.
shaking at the end of last
What do
night's
you mean,
game.
shaking?
I was shaking. I was so nervous. It felt like a playoff game. It's January 31st this morning, 30th last night. The crowd was awesome. Like, the energy that picked up in the fourth quarter was spectacular, but it really felt like a high-stakes playoff game. And maybe I was tired, maybe I was hungry, maybe I was a little bit of both, but I was genuinely nervous because I had gone into the day, we talked all day. Is this the biggest Grizzlies game of the year? Is this the most important game of the season thus far? Is it a must-win? Is it fair to call any game in an 82-game season a must-win, especially one in January? And I'd come to the conclusion after talking with Brevin Knight, talking with Elliot Perry, maybe must-win wasn't the perfect terminology. It was must-compete. And the Grizzlies competed their booties off. Like, I couldn't complain about how they competed. So as it's going down the stretch, I'm trying to bargain with my brain, win or lose. Like, I'm not gonna be mad about this game. I'm not going to feel dangerously upset about how the Grizzlies performed tonight, because what I wanted to see was a team that bounced back from an abysmal showing on Monday night at Madison Square Garden. And similar to that game, they went into the half down a manageable number. On Monday, it was 8. Last night, it was 10. But unlike Monday, they did not collapse, implode in the third quarter. They had a really successful third quarter, stayed in it, were able to make enough big plays down the stretch. But then when we got to like a minute and a half left in the game, it's like, if the Grizzlies lose again to the Rockets in a close game, I don't know if my little heart can handle it. And that's okay, because they didn't. Thank goodness.
Yeah, there are things to complain about, though.
Of course there are.
And
we don't start with the complaints.
Obviously, had they lost, I would have wanted to start there. But listen, man, the thing we talked about yesterday, one of the things we talked about yesterday in previewing this game is the Grizzlies have to be able to play through moments of physicality. And I thought they did that better than they have in games past this year. Also, playing through adversity like the referee hearing somebody say timeout, not Taylor Jenkins, there's somebody in this general vicinity saying timeout, and the team not falling apart in that moment,
yes.
Right? Like that's toughness. That's what it's going to take in a 7-game series to overcome some things. Everything's not going to go your way. Some things are going to be egregiously bad. Just keep playing through it. This thing, didn't see this thing once yesterday.
I know.
Not once.
They hurt us.
Not one. I guarantee you it wasn't us. No,
I think it was.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But somebody told them this got to stop.
Yeah.
And it to their credit, to a man, that didn't happen.
And they could have.
Many
that
times,
was the kind of
they
game,
could
the
have.
physicality of that game. We had not one, but 2 infectious disease timeouts in the first half because there was blood on the court.
Luke Kennard, at one point, second half, maybe midway through the third, early in the fourth, they go to Luke Kennard, who was hot. Mm-hmm. Right? Of course, you're going to show him on the TV.
Right.
They show him, and Luke Kennard, the best I can describe this man, you know how picture day, parents out there, you might know, picture day, you send your child all dressed up to school. They look handsome. They look beautiful. This is wonderful little 8-year-old, 9-year-old, gorgeous for picture day. And then you pick them up. Hair's all disheveled. Mm-hmm. Dirt is everywhere. Holes are in places. You're like, how did you get holes in these? Luke Kennard had a big ass gaping hole in the tights. Luke Kennard had like dirt. I was like, I didn't know the FedEx Forum court was this damn dirty. Why does it look like he's been rolling around in the dirt all damn game?
And if that's what a game against the Rockets does.
If that's how Luke looked, I can't imagine what like the arms and the upper back of somebody like a Zach Edey looked like in that game. It was just a nonstop tussle. And to the Grizzlies' credit, they kept their composure and they ended up coming out with a win.
I want Edey in the gym with Steven Adams this offseason. I want them training alongside one another. We've seen it. I think it was Sean Coleman who pointed it out. Like, he did work, Steve-O did, with Evan Mobley. He obviously has been on a team with Jaren, now on a team with Alperen Şengün, who did not play last night, but was also named an All-Star along with Jaren Jackson Jr. When the Western Conference All-Star reserves were named. But I just want that extra. The Grizzlies won. I'm not going to spend time thirsting over Steven Adams this morning.
Although that's a man to thirst
However,
over.
I missed some of those plays of Steven Adams, just extending. There was one where Edey's trying to box him out under the basket, and Steven Adams, it looks like he barely, these are huge men. There's a lot of weight behind them, but it looks like he barely nudges Zach, and Zach is like, whoa. It was simply a loss of balance kind of thing, but it was so indicative of how I would feel if I was stuck in a situation trying to get a rebound from Steven Adams at any given moment.
There were a couple of I hadn't laughed that much in a game in quite some time. There were a couple of moments that made me laugh out loud. Steven Adams just threw Zach Edey one time. Zach Edey comes over to hit him with the shoulder, and Steven's like, nope, move. Here it is. Give it to me. I also, while watching it, we request ridiculous things from a rule standpoint on this show, if you don't know. When you got two bigs like that, like Edey and Steven Adams, Fouls count for everybody else. But specifically with those two, if they're being physical with one another,
you just get to go for it.
They just get to go for it. But Adams can't then do that to Jaren. That's a foul. He can't do that to Santi. That's a foul. But Zach Edey and vice versa. But Zach Edey and Steven Adams, I just want them wrestling underneath the backboard for all of eternity. That was some fun stuff to watch.
It did stand out to me last night. We don't talk about this enough in the Edey rookie conversation as we watch him every time. He's ripped. Like, his leg muscles and his arm muscles are insane. And you think about him putting on more muscle as he continues on. Like, one day he'll have a moment with Steven Adams or, with another, if it's a Zubats, is someone he struggled with a bit this season. Anyway, it wasn't a Zach Edey game last night, but I will say the emotion from this team after the win spoke volumes to me because they knew coming off that game against the Knicks, we're back on our home court. We're facing the team that's right ahead of us in the standings. There's this growing narrative that we can't beat the best teams. We can only beat up on the likes of the Hornets and the Pelicans and the Jazz and whatnot. And that game meant something extra. Like, so often you'll get the every game matters, like, coach speak that comes out. That wasn't the case after last night's win. And seeing Jaren Jackson Jr. do the little shimmy, skip on Dillon Brooks, looking right at Dillon Brooks after getting Dillon Brooks to foul out of the game last night. I'm so grateful we're not talking about a Dillon Brooks superhero moment for the Houston Rockets because it felt like that might be brewing in the ending moments of last night's game. But between Jaren's comments, Luke Kennard's comments, Desmond Bane's comments, this one just meant more. And what a difference. This is where it feels like a playoff game because every possession is more valuable. Like, of course, every possession is valuable, but games like last night where it comes down to the end, right? Every single possession counted like it was a playoff game, and we are 1 point difference of talking about this game very differently, but we're not. Because the Grizzlies made more plays than the Rockets when it came down to it at the end. They ended on like a 13-4 run. They closed out that game very strongly. Jaren getting back into it, not picking up his 6th foul, critical. That team was different with Jaren Jackson Jr. on the court. Also, Desmond Bane, if he played that version that he played last night, he would have been an all-star too this season. Some of you don't want to hear it, but the way that he's been able to consistently get to the basket, he had 12 rebounds against that athletic Rockets team. And he's been better. Him and Luke Kennard kind of playing like joint point guard, take some of the pressure off him, I feel. Just really impressive across the board for
Desmond Bane, we talked about it some with Teresa, throw this game in the past 11 games, right? Like, if he had done that all season, then yeah, you could very easily make the case for him being worthy of one of the reserve spots. The difference in these two teams and the difference in greatness and pretty good is 1 or 2 possessions.
Yep.
You look at these two teams in particular, I wouldn't call either one of them great last year. Certainly not great the last 6 times they played, but, for last night, that was a thing. They're 0-6 against the Rockets in their last 6. Well, you go through and you look at those games, take the 20-point loss out from the second game of the season. Those other 5 games, it's 2 points, 4 points. 1 point, 3 points, right? When you add them all up, I think that the 5 games, with the exception of that 20-point loss, get that out of there, the 5 losses to the Grizzlies in that 6-game losing streak, 15 points. That's what it was decided by. You do some quick math there. You divide 15 by 5. It's like it's 3 points. It's 3 points. That's a 1-possession game. You got to take care of the damn ball. You just have to. You can't be giving possessions away. And they didn't have any of those stupid turnovers. Did they turn the ball over, 12 times?
11 times.
Sure. All right.
But they weren't dumb.
That's the cost of doing business in the NBA, right? You're going to turn the ball over. You're going to turn it over 9, 10, 11 times. But you can't turn it over 18. You can't go 17. God forbid, 20. You can't do those types of things and then expect to beat a quality opponent. So the Grizzlies focused, they played tough, and when the physicality came, they met the moment, and they didn't let it rattle them. Like, that's why they were able to win that game. And it was great to see.
72 paint points.
Also great to see.
72 paint points and a -8 differential at the free throw line. And that's, again, where I'm impressed that we didn't get a whole lot of this and it was just, all right, keep attacking, keep finding ways to get to the basket. You get calls when you get them. A game as physical as this one, this is the way that these go. And seeing this team, they gave up 30 second chance points. That was, if this game had gone a different direction.
Well, we could talk about it. We don't.
No, I know, but I'm saying early, like we're 17 minutes into this conversation and haven't mentioned that I came down to the court, Lang and I were walking down to do the end of game duties between the walk-off interview and the rewind on Grind City Media. And I was just skimming the box score for the first time. It was the kind of game where I wasn't just sitting looking at the box score because it was so engaging and so fun. You're just sucked into it, not a lot of opportunities. Just moments of really two high-level basketball teams playing high-level basketball.
Did it not feel like, oh, the Rockets are getting one too many of these
which is
rebounds?
And it was, as I was walking down, they got another one. And so that was the first stat that I looked at, and I go, oh my God. Like, I know it felt bad, but they gave up 30 second chance opportunities. Like, far too many.
And Şengün wasn't playing.
I know.
Yeah.
But Ja wasn't playing for the Grizzlies.
That has nothing to do with offensive
I'm just
rebounds.
saying you have star cancel from a standpoint one was without their all-star, the other was without their
That's fine if we're
superstar.
talking about win, right?
Yes.
Like fine,
but the rebounds.
But the rebounds, like
the rebounds.
But you brought up Desmond Bane with the 12.
Yes.
When we talked about it yesterday, it was like, hey, the bigs are going to be fighting for their lives down there. Somebody's got to come over the top and get the rebound from the perimeter. Desmond Bane did that. They need somebody else to do it. Ooh, boy, they need somebody else to get down there and grab a rebound.
That's where you wish Edie could have played more than 17 minutes.
Edie's not going to help.
No. Brandon had 5. Santi had 5. Bit of a rough game for Santi Aldama last night, especially on the defensive end.
None of the people you're naming. This is not a big man problem for the Grizzlies rebounding against this version of the Rockets, right? This is a perimeter problem. Right. This is a Jaylen Wells problem. This is a Luke Kennard problem. This is a who's that one y'all like so much? Gigi problem.
Oof, Gigi had a tough game.
I mean, this is his 4th game back.
I know.
This is what happens when you're trying to work somebody into shape.
But to the credit of Taylor Jenkins, quick poll. Gigi only played 9 minutes.
Yeah, this was a highly desired game.
Yes.
If you don't want to call it must-win, because no regular season game is must-win, that's fine.
I'll call it a must-win. Everyone's treating it like a must-win. Why are we so
I don't know.
Hesitant
I don't know.
to call? I get it. Technically, like, your season does not fall into a black hole. You do not turn into the Washington Wizards if you lose last night's game, as the Washington Wizards lost their 16th straight game last night and trailed the Lakers by like 800 at halftime. But that's not the thing. Like, I get, so from a technicality standpoint, of course it's not a must win. But from a mood and a 1 week out from the trade deadline standpoint and a trying to figure out where you exist in the ecosystem of this NBA season, it was a must win. And I turned on I taped the TNT postgame show just to see what the national conversation was afterwards, because obviously we're in the arena and aren't able to participate, although I did see many of your calls and complaints about some of the TNT commentary last night during the Grizzlies game. But it was either, you're looking quizzical.
The Harlan Miller?
Reggie Miller.
Oh, they're I don't know what to do then. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I just saw a lot of complaints, but no one was specific in their complaints, so I'd have to go back and listen to the whole thing.
I think when people on call start complimenting the other team at the expense of your team, I think that gets fan bases riled up.
But the Rockets had all the energy going into that game last night, too.
Alan Thompson is making some
it was
plays.
His birthday?
Like, come on, man.
Alan Thompson blocked Zach Edey last night after he blocked Evan Mobley earlier this week.
I don't know what
we can sit here and give appropriate praise to Alan Thompson being a freakishly awesome basketball player.
My wife turned to me midway through that game, was like, yo, I know I'm not supposed to like him, but he's okay. Good. And I was like, hey, you know he's got a twin. She said, what? What does the twin do? I was like, oh.
He also plays basketball.
He plays for the Pistons. She's like, what? There are 2 of these?
Plays basketball.
Is he athletic too? It's like, yeah, they're freak athletes.
Yeah.
But must win. Back on that, I feel like I cut you off.
No.
You went to the TNT broadcast.
Oh, after, I can't remember if it was Shaq or Chuck, but one of them, they were essentially saying, like, which team do you feel more confident about at this point in the season? And they said the Grizzlies. And there was, like, some pushback from the table. Not pushback, but just like I can't believe that was such a quick answer. It was a very quick, I feel more confident about the Grizzlies because of nights like last night. They are able to find ways to win, even when Ja Morant is not playing, which could be critical in the postseason if Ja misses a game. I am not trying to speak that into existence, but we have seen a pattern of not being able to play, 5 games in a row. And so if there is one time in the postseason where you need the team to be able to rally without him, I think we're seeing proof of concept there. And then just this group, how it's built, and to win games like that. And again, we're talking about that because they were on the right side of it last night by a point. Those 3 games against the Rockets decided by a grand total of 7 points. We don't talk about the first one.
They hadn't won games like that against that type of a team, though.
But now you've seen that you can, and it makes you feel infinitely better.
The Rockets right now,
best team in the clutch.
Best team in the clutch. 17-6 after last night. Came into the night 17-5. Right, like, so the Grizzlies. This is great. I don't want it to get. If they had have lost, there would have been things to talk about, which I'm sure we will get to later on in the show, that would have taken priority over the praise. All right, so I wouldn't get too high right now because there are still things to work on. Just like if they had a loss, I wouldn't have gotten too low because, like, hey, you're right there. But like being right there, being on the cusp, like you're either getting over it or you're under it. They're not good enough to make a whole bunch of mistakes. They're not good enough to not play as hard as they can. They're not good enough for people to have a whole bunch of off games, right? But they're right there.
They're good enough for me to sit there and say, my God, when can Marcus Smart come back from this finger injury? When can Vince Williams Jr. not be week to week?
I mean, listen, it might be time to let a couple people know, hey, we just don't got time to work you back in, baby. We don't have time. It's the truth. We're sitting here 3rd in the West. We're right there behind the Rockets. We really can't afford, with the toughest schedule in the NBA, really can't afford any of these developmental minutes. We can't really afford much of these conditioning minutes. We can't afford much of the working yourself back into a rhythm with your teammates minutes. It might be what it is right now. And what it is a team that currently sits 3rd in the West, coming off a win over the 2nd best team in the West, and a team that legit has like conference contending type of feel to it, assuming you don't mess it up.
The best version of Marcus Smart gives me
I'm not
multiple
talking
points. Okay.
I'm not talking about him.
Okay. Just want to be clear.
Listen, in the February, I'll start naming names of dudes I don't need to see anymore. We didn't see Jay Huff at all last night. I thought that was a good thing.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Lang Whitaker is going to join us after a quick break. We'll talk about his thoughts on last night's win. Also, we'll get into the Grizzlies winning without Ja Morant. I know everyone was eager to talk about Ja Morant at the game last night. We'll get into that with Lang when we come back.
Sitting right next to me, am I right? The one and only Jay Huff. Were you comfortable there in your seat?
I'm great. You know, I've been adjusting it, playing around with the height settings.
What are you exactly? 7'1" or 7 even? Or
I say 7'2" because I wear shoes.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Morant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
At the National Civil Rights Museum, history moves us forward. The question remains, how does history move you?
Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
Shinedown, Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
So these are a pair of Kobe 11 Elite Low. These were part of a collaboration with FC Barcelona.
I've never seen these in person. The detail on these are amazing.
It's Flyknit, like, the front of the shoe is Flyknit. It's got the lunar line, I remember, and the
insole is removable.
Yeah. The Sneak Fest show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
How about them
How
Tigers?
about
Go
the
Tigers. Go.
Beat Tulane in a game that nobody called. Nobody thought was going to happen. They were a 2-touchdown underdog, and they got the win.
Number 25 in the AP right now, number 24 in the coaches poll right now. So this is a Tigers football team that's going to end the regular season ranked in both major polls, possibly ranked in the CFP as well, with 10 wins. That's a damn good season.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Welcome back. It is Friday. That means Len Whitaker joins us in studio, and it's always more fun.
We're up past our bedtime.
Yes. If we're going to be at FedEx Forum until the wee hours of the night into the next morning,
at least
that was
we were
more
all
fun
here
when the
together.
Grizzlies win. That was a hell of a game.
I literally just wrote and filed the Grind City Media newsletter that's supposed to go out this morning, but didn't go out last night because yesterday could have gone like two ways. Like yesterday could have gone pretty sideways when you think about it. But the Grizzlies won. Jaren made the All-Star game. Even the Memphis Tigers broke the New Orleans curse and got a win at Tulane. So it was like all told, it was a pretty good day for Memphis yesterday.
Yeah, and it was another reminder, like, don't sweat something until it actually happens.
Yes.
Because it was feeling really bad. Like
The whole
early
game.
on,
I mean,
especially early from the Grizzlies' perspective, watching the Tigers, I was sitting there thinking, man, this has been a real bad omen of a night for me. Like, I left my condo, a giant water droplet fell from the awning on my way right onto my forehead.
What's so bad about water falling on your
Well,
head?
because I do makeup and hair. This is a girl thing. And I'm like, oh my God, like, is this gonna, whatever. And then getting to the game.
An element's on me.
We did a great warm-up show in
Yeah,
a
it
new
was
location,
awesome.
which was very fun.
Supersized
And I did
warm-up
want to
show.
shout out Callie and Joe, fans of the show, met
Yep.
them. They asked me to sign their
Fans of which
basketball,
show?
which was the coolest
The Jessica
thing.
Benson show?
This show right here.
Okay.
They watch every morning.
There's other shows on Grind City.
I know. I said
you said
this,
the show.
This here show.
Maybe they watch the Odds Couple.
We're sitting on this show currently in the morning. They watch every morning. They had me sign their basketball, which
Nice.
was so cool. I've never been asked to sign a basketball before. It's very difficult. But then things went downhill again. We missed time to the pregame show on the radio last night. And so I'm doing my normal pregame show. All of a sudden I realize it is silent in FedEx Forum. They're doing the flute national anthem.
Oh, well, I've got...
And I'm like, and coming up next here. And I just have
I had the same thing.
self-actualization.
So we thought, the game was alleged to start at 8:30 our time, but those games never start on time because it's the second of two games, and the other game usually runs a little long or whatever. Same thing. So we thought the warm-up show was going to end at 8:30.
Yes.
Mike and I are up there finishing out the show, and all of a sudden it goes dead quiet, and there's still a minute and a half left on the clock
We
that
were
I
in the
got to
exact
fill.
same boat.
And Mike gets quiet, and I'm like, so I'm like, so you're watching the Grizzlies now getting ready to, and I didn't know what to do, and I was
it's not
like,
a
do you
normal-
stop? Like, I don't know.
It's a flute anthem, so it's like very
Yeah.
soft, and it was awesome, by the
Somber.
way. Like all the stuff for Lunar New Year last
Yeah.
night was great.
What did you do? Just keep going?
Yeah, I was like, and as you can maybe hear behind me, we've started the national anthem a little early here
Yeah,
tonight.
I wasn't sure what to do. I kept going. I mean, this exists on YouTube. You can watch it, I think. But I kept going, and then finally, with like 25 seconds early, I was like, screw it, I'm getting out of here. And
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's just go.
That's kind of
thanks
what
for
I
watching.
did too. I got our director back in
Yeah.
the 92.9 studio in the ear was like, you have 15 seconds. And I think with 15 seconds, I said, I can't do that. I am so uncomfortable
awkward,
in
yeah.
myself right now.
I could see people walking by looking.
Me too.
like,
The people in
yeah.
front of us were looking back.
And
But
I don't know what to do. But I was thinking about, like, I think I've seen, like, games on NBC or whatever where they're doing, or whatever, where they're on the court doing the warm-up
Yeah.
or doing the intro and the national anthem starts.
I know they really try for it not to be.
Yeah.
And I don't want someone to take a picture and be like, this girl.
Yeah.
Like, does Jessica Benson
Maybe
hate
we should have just talked
America?
about, like, how great America is or something. Like, do you think that gets you a pass for
It's been a long month, Lang. It's been a long month. I will say, I credit my prayer on the warm-up show because every warm-up show we do a main character.
You
and
do the
I
main
said,
character.
I do a main character. I said prayers because Amen Thompson, what do you say at the end of a prayer? Amen. He was a big story going into the night's game. Prayers for Ja's shoulder to feel better.
Yep.
Prayers for Jaren Jackson Jr., those prayers being answered that he's an
Yep.
all-star. And then just praying for a bounce back from the Knicks. And I don't want to take credit for the help
game.
there at the end, but we'll just point to the sky.
I just tweeted, like, the funniest part of the pool report. So Michael Cole did a pool report with the referee who called the phantom timeout
yes.
with 20 seconds left. So Jaylen Wells had a dunk to take the lead, and the referees call a timeout. And you and I were on the baseline, so we couldn't really tell what had happened.
Yeah.
We're like, did the Grizzlies call a timeout? But then just watching Taylor Jenkins' reaction, you're like, all right, I'm pretty sure he didn't call a timeout. Like, he was furious.
Yes.
The whole bench is jumping up and down, like doing this to the referee. And then DeMichael did a pool report with the referee, and the referee says the Grizzlies were awarded a timeout because I was like, awarded is like the most just like backhanded
Lie.
word you could use. Like, yeah, like literally nobody wanted that timeout.
The thing you say that's not a truth is a lie. And we were standing there, and I don't think I verbalized it to you, but Jaylen Wells gets that rebound,
Yeah.
and my head immediately goes, oh my God, please don't call a timeout like the last time. Like, don't have a repeat of the last Rockets game in Memphis where Taylor Jenkins calls a
Although
timeout
if anybody
and Desmond Bane makes the
caught
transition
the
three.
rebound, and I would want them to call it timeout, it's probably Jaylen Wells because he kind of struggles when he
Sure.
gets the ball in his hands and has to create or do something. I mean, that
He
turned
went
out to be
straight the
perfect.
basket.
Yeah, it was
but
like
granted, Dylan heard the whistle and slowed down. I'm just glad that it didn't end up being the reason why the Grizzlies lost. That
Yeah.
would have felt cruel. And in the
Well,
moment,
the cherry on top
one of the
was
worst
that
calls of the year.
Yes, but the cherry on top was, and I think I might have even said it to you. The Grizzlies are going to get a call right after this, right? You know, the referees know they screwed up. The Grizzlies are going to throw the ball in bounds, and they're going to get a call right here
Yes.
because this is the referee's chance to
Yes.
make right what they screwed up. So you throw it to Jaren and just go to the basket.
Yeah.
So the cherry on top is not only does Jaren make the free throws to give you the win, but Dylan fouls out on the
Exactly.
play, and you get the win.
It's a nice bow that
Yeah.
ties everything
all together.
together.
By the way, talking about fans of your show
Yeah.
and stuff, I meant to say we ate at Gem the other night, which is great. The restaurant JEM in the Edge District.
You've had one at Gem?
Yeah,
It's my favorite restaurant.
it's
right
so
now.
good. I was there the other night with my wife and another couple, and at the end of we had a great meal. And at the end of the meal, the waiter brings 2 checks to us, and as he hands it to me, he goes, "Big fan of the Odds Couple, by the way."
Hell yeah.
And I was like, "All right, here we go. We got another Grind City Media
Like,
fan
thank
here."
you, fellow degenerate.
Let's go.
Appreciate it. Did you get the chocolate cake?
No.
Did they have the chocolate cake?
I'm trying to watch my girlish figure.
Okay, well, they do chocolate cake with a glass of milk.
Yeah.
And the chocolate cake has like little Crispies on it. It's delightful.
Yeah.
I love Gem. It's a
great
fun
restaurant.
place to be. Jaren was great down the stretch.
Yes.
The importance of him staying in that game. Desmond Bane.
Bane was
had
awesome, man. All night.
Awesome game.
Played 40 minutes.
From
led-
that first Jaren miss early where Des got the rebound, it looked like it was going to be a Rockets rebound. Des kind of snatched it. I think it was
Yeah.
his first board of the night. He ends up having a double-double. But it just felt like he was everywhere, right place, right time, aggressive, took care of the ball. He's more and more comfortable when he's being asked to play this version
I
of
thought,
himself.
do you have the box score in front of you?
Yeah.
I don't have it in front of me. How many, Luke Kennard played 38
33.
minutes?
Desmond Bane
33.
played 40.
Yeah, Des played 40, and I thought there was a lot of times, especially in that fourth quarter, where the Grizzlies were able to maintain this kind of crazy pace they've played with all season, even with Des playing 40 minutes. And there was times where there would be a whistle, a timeout, and you'd see Des immediately grab the shorts and just like hunch over. Which, by the way, there was a scientific report recently where they said if you bend over like that and grab your shorts, you actually help breathe better than if you. Yeah, coaches have told us our whole lives, don't grab your shorts,
Grab your
stand
shorts,
up.
but it's actually good.
Put your hands on your head. No, grab your shorts, lean over, and it helps you
Really?
get oxygen into your lungs faster. Anyway,
I had a basketball coach who was the queen.
Sure.
of, get your effing hands off your shorts, put them above your head.
Yeah,
And
every
I'm
coach tells you
"But
that."
my arms hurt."
they don't know what they're talking about. Anyway,
Wow.
Des was awesome.
Science.
He led the team in points, rebounds, and assists last night.
Yeah.
And there were so many plays where you think like, oh man, he's got to be tired at this point. He's got to be worn out. Man, he never did. Like he just kept going full speed ahead, getting the rebound. after makes, after misses, just pushing the tempo. He was incredible. I thought he was kind of the player of the game. And I know Jaren made the free throws to win it. There was a lot of really good performances all the way
Luke
around.
coming out of the half.
Luke was great. Jaylen Wells made some good defensive plays. I mean, they kind of forced the Rockets into back-to-back step-back threes at the end of the game by Van Vliet. You can live with that.
I'm sure that wasn't the game plan, but
I don't know.
Of course you're gonna.
Well, did you watch?
take
There's a
it.
clip of it. There's a Rockets broadcast that had a bunch of Rockets fans watching it, talking over it.
Oh, yeah.
And when Van Vliet takes the last shot, they're all like, "No, not Fred! No, no!" And they're all yelling, "No!"
I saw a lot of sentiment of how does Jalen Green not touch the ball, and
Yeah.
I agree. But hey, for the sake of the Grizzlies,
Works for me.
it's fine. Jaylen Wells, in a game like last night, and I know statistically 3 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, a block, and a steal.
Whatever.
The fact that he is not number 1 on the Rookie of the Year ladder,
He
I was
is.
having this thought. He is in my heart.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
The ladder that they put
NBA.com?
out.
That thing
Yes.
is just propaganda.
Okay, but
they
it
just change it every
exists.
week to make people
Yeah,
talk about
but,
it.
okay,
Come on.
If it's propaganda and they change it every week, put him at number 1. Like
He
I
has
don't
been.
understand why at this point in the season Jaylen Wells is not number 1 on that ladder.
He's the best.
It got me thinking because we just came off of Jaren deservingly getting an All-Star nom, and I am so grateful that he got it, and we don't have to do anything except for Jaren Jackson Jr. has been playing like an all-star this season,
Yeah.
and he was rewarded as one last night. But the interesting dichotomy of the Grizzlies having one of the greatest highlight machines in the game currently in Ja Morant, but then these other players who are massive for the collective success of the team, Jaren Jackson Jr., could be playing at an all-NBA level.
Yep.
We certainly think so. Jaylen Wells playing at a Rookie of the Year level. But they don't have those like sexified highlights that hit the timeline and people
Yeah.
get really into it. And so it prevents this natural like oversaturation of Grizzlies highlights outside of Ja for the other players. Desmond Bane fits into that category as well.
Yeah.
I just think it's an interesting thing to have one that is like so over the
It's like
top
imbalanced.
viewed.
Yeah. There's one guy who gets all the highlights, and everyone else just makes
does their
plays.
job, gets
Yeah.
the briefcase, and goes to work. Even Luke Kennard leads the league in three-point percentage.
Yeah.
But if you asked like a general NBA fan who leads the league in three-point percentage,
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry, who's
Yeah.
like top 10 at this point this season,
I guess.
but a little
I don't
off
know.
this year. Nikola Jokic,
Yeah.
Domantas Sabonis, but it's Luke Kennard. There is an odd disconnect of some of the success that the
I
Grizzlies
liked
players
it.
have.
I was thinking about Jaylen last night, and that him and Zach Edey have both come in and both of them basically sort of separately figured out, hey, I can play a role here and get minutes, right? Like rookies are trying to figure out how do they get on the court. And in most situations, like in Washington, who has not won a game for the month of January, I was looking at their game log last night, if it's just all L's in January. And they're all blowouts. Like the closest game I think was an 8-point loss. For the Wizards, a guy like Sarr, one of those guys, can come in and be like, all right, you're going to play 28 minutes a night, 35 minutes, whatever. You're going to play as much as you want to play, but it doesn't really matter. For a team like the Grizzlies, if you're going to go draft a Zach Edey at 9 or Jaylen Wells at 37, and these guys come in and you're like, all right, maybe you'll get to play, maybe you won't. This is going to be a good team. We're gonna be a top team in the Western Conference. These two guys figured out, like, all right, here's what I got to do to get on the court, especially Jaylen. Like, that, when guys got hurt early on, when Vince got hurt, when people have been out, Jaylen was like, all right, I'll become a defensive stopper, which is such a weird kind of
a true
thing.
rarity to be talking about a rookie where his greatest skill set is his defense.
Yeah, and technically his shooting might be better than his defense. I don't know. But
He had a big 3 in the third quarter last night.
He had a couple of shots last night, but for the most part, he's figured out, all right, if I can face guard these other guys and slow them down a little bit, and that dude gets beat up every night. If you watch Jaylen Wells, man, he gets run through so many screens. Opposing players are shoving on him, pushing him, and he gets no calls. He gets 0 calls, which is the more impressive thing to me. Like, he doesn't complain.
Yeah.
You'll see him, like, sometimes he gets called for a terrible foul where he plays good defense. Somebody crashes into him. Foul on him. The guy goes to the free throw line, and you watch Jaylen. He'll sidle up to the referee very calmly and quietly and say, like, hey, what did I do wrong there? And I don't know if he really is taking it as a lesson or not, but he's letting the referee explain himself and making the referee feel
trying
important.
to help the Grizzlies one day,
Yeah,
perhaps.
one day get these
Have
calls
a good
every other team
relationship
gets.
with the refs. It's funny, back in the day when the David Fizdale, they're not going to rook us moment, like, what's happening to Jaylen Wells is the kind of thing he was talking about in that
rooked,
series with the Spurs, where they were full of vets and they were treating them like they're treating Jaylen Wells right now. He plays
that,
within it,
but that
though.
feels like it happens to us every night. Like, and that goes to the Grizzlies struggling against these teams that play physically.
Yes.
I don't know. And last night was pretty even in terms of free throw attempts and fouls and all that. But like for most part, teams get physical with the Grizzlies, which just means they push us around. And they don't get called for the things we get called for. And I don't understand why that is. We were talking about it last night during the game. Michael Wallace and I were sitting together, and I was like, is it just because like the Rockets have a reputation for being a quote-unquote physical team, so they get away with more? And the Grizzlies have a reputation for playing more of a free-flowing style on offense. They don't foul as much, so they call more. I don't understand what the disconnect there is, but the Grizzlies don't seem to get the calls other teams get, and I don't know how that changes.
But we were talking about it in the first segment. That was what was so nice about the Grizzlies last night, is it didn't get to them enough where they were calling for fouls. They weren't hunting for fouls. They knew they weren't going to get them, and they matched the physicality appropriately and didn't allow it to impact mentally, where in games past we've seen those frustrations kind of take over. That segs us into, you and I were talking.
Did you just use segs?
Yeah.
Instead of segue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've never
segs.
heard that before.
You know, segs.
Segs us into.
I know, it's very close. CJ?
Yeah,
You've been very appropriate.
Get your head out the gutter.
I got chewed out when I got home.
Your head out
When?
of the gutter.
Yesterday. Jessica was over here being inappropriate.
No, that was Wednesday's show.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Jerry Jones was being inappropriate. That's not my fault.
I figured out
We were
glory
just-
holes, by the way.
We were just responding
glory
to the...
holes is like digging for gold. So back in the day when you dug for gold,
I told you it was oil related.
Yeah, and there's some
Oh, yeah,
oil
probably.
stuff there too.
There's oil
But
in
Black
that
gold,
is,
Texas tea.
That is like way back in the day. The only person
Well, he's
who gets
152
that,
years
that's why
old,
he keeps
so he
saying
doesn't
glory
understand
holes.
the
He said it
new age
Said it like
terminology.
4 different times.
He's never been on Urban Dictionary. He just knows what it is from the good old oil days, you know?
You don't think Jerry Jones looks at
No, he actually
videos?
probably
No, I
is
bet he has.
precisely the person who has to go on Urban Dictionary to figure out what people
I bet he
are
has it
talking
bookmarked.
about. We were talking after
Can't
the
do that
game.
in Texas anymore.
And it was a conversation, and I'm glad that it's taken us this long to get in, because I don't think it's necessary to overanalyze the way that people love anything Ja Morant does.
Yep.
People are so eager to be like, what's going on, what's happening, and give their 2 cents. Is this good, is this bad, is this in between? He didn't play last night. He went onto the injury report early in the morning. Then he was downgraded to doubtful. Then he was officially out. Taylor Jenkins said he got bumped at practice. It is the shoulder that he had surgery on, then dealt with the AC joint sprain after that tough Daniel Tice screen from earlier this year. So he misses the game, sits in the second row, which people are quick to be like, why is he in the second row? Why is he in the front row with the team? Like, certainly Zion Poland could move to the back row if Ja wanted to be in the front row with the rest of the Grizzlies on the bench. And there was a general chatter of, was Ja disengaged from this game last night? I will say, at the end, there's been a clip that's gone around.
Yeah.
He celebrated the end of the game, and he stuck around for Jaren Jackson Jr. to finish all of his post-game media stuff, and then walked off the court with him. He hopped on Instagram immediately after Jaren became an all-star. Were you concerned? Here they are going off together at the end of it.
Devin caught that as they were leaving that.
Yeah, and I was happy that Devin did catch it, because I do think it's always important to provide the full whatever full context we can. Like, we'll never know. Maybe he's hurt, wasn't feeling well. It could be a myriad of reasons.
I will say at the end of practice on Wednesday, when they let us in for media availability, like I didn't see Ja out there, and I didn't really think much of it. But I mean, he might have been out there, and I just didn't see him because I also had to leave real quickly to come over here and do the Grizz beat. But I was in there for like 5-10 minutes and didn't see Ja. So maybe, took a bump like Taylor said, and maybe they put him in the second row so he didn't bump his shoulder. I don't know. But I do, to your bigger point, yes, we're all like, I'm wearing this Steve Martin short shirt.
The Dukes of Funnytown.
Yeah, so my wife and son went to the show last week. We had a game, so I couldn't go. But I've never watched Only Murders in the Building, the show they have on Hulu.
Yes.
Is that what it's on? So we've started
Selena.
watching it this week. All of us now are like amateur detectives, right? And on the show, these guys are like investigating a murder that happens in their building and may make a podcast about it. That's what basically Twitter Spaces is, your Only Murder in the Building podcast now, where people like have their conspiracy theories and figure out, well, Ja was wearing a shiesty, so like he doesn't like his teammates or whatever. Like
Ja's not playing in a nationally televised game because he's trying to
Send a
say
message.
something to the refs,
Whatever.
and he's in yellow and black, and he had those yellow and black sneakers on that said "Let Ja be Ja." Is there a connection?
Well,
They're all Brian Windhorst trying to make a connection.
Yeah, if Ja was trying to make send a message with the shoes, wouldn't he just wear the shoes? That's That's what I was saying. Like, why wouldn't you just wear the shoes that have the message literally written on the shoe instead of dressing in a color that matches the shoe? Like, we're doing too much. All of us are doing too much. This is and I've told you this before. Like when we see people complaining about stuff on the Twitter or on the blue skies, like, don't worry about it.
No one complains on the blue skies. It's a blue sky.
Yeah. Well, I don't care.
Threads.
I don't care. Don't look at it. Like, I got home last night and I couldn't go to sleep, and I'm laying in bed and I was like, all right, I'm not going to go on Twitter because everybody's just bitching and complaining.
But I will say, in regards to last night, it wasn't just Twitter. It was people in the building. Like, this was a real, and I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm sitting in the radio section looking straight down at Ja, and I noticed, why is Ja sitting in the second row? Why is Ja not
maybe this is where I'm different,
huddle?
because I was sitting right next to you.
Yeah.
I was in the suite, the Grind City Media suite, one section over. And actually, it wasn't until the third quarter where I said to someone, oh, is Ja down there? Because I was watching the game. I was watching the players on the court.
I'm a better detective than you.
I guess so.
Two,
you're on
when
season
you're on the
2
radio,
of Only
when you're on
Murders
the
in the
radio
Building.
broadcast, you're filling in like, I don't know if being on radio has made me watch games or have the entirety of an experience differently, because you're portraying the game for people who don't have eyes on the game, and so you're saying everything. So at some point, Eric Hasseltine is commenting like, Ja Morant out for tonight, in the building, sitting in the second, like filling in the details, because if somebody's not watching the game on TV, they have no idea.
So what do you say? The guy with the hurt shoulder isn't moving his shoulder very much.
He's not moving his shoulder.
Okay.
Agreed. And I do think too. And I will say, like, I'm not gonna come for people who were concerned, because it is frustrating when you have a game like last night, and especially for fans who went to the game, they wanted to see Ja play, of course. But that's where I'll push back and say, knowing Ja, this is the dot that I don't understand why we don't connect more. Of course he wants to play.
Yeah.
Like, have we not
we know.
learned to know who this person is as a basketball player, at least over the last few years? Like, the idea, the notion that Ja would be trying to dodge a game is the most ludicrous thing that I could hear.
If you think Ja's acting strange or something, let's ask Taylor Jenkins after the game.
And he totally
We did.
downplayed it.
Yeah, he's like, hey.
And the players did too.
The players. Everybody's like, no, it was fine. Like, so I get it. We're all trying to solve season 1 and move on to season 2 of Only Murders. But like, it's like, there's a lot of Twitter detectives, and sometimes that's helpful. Like with this Terry Rozier situation yesterday, when like old tweets come up and people
How about
find
the Justin
things.
Tucker situation?
Justin Tucker, like all these kind of things. Sometimes you find things and you're like, oh, okay. But when you're like connecting the color of a person's sweatshirt to their feelings, you become like the Only Sunny in Philadelphia meme, where the guys are like pointing out all the different disparate things and drawing yarn lines. But then you become season 1 of True Detective.
Yes.
And you're looking at
Or you become
Kokoza and you're
season
trying
2
to
of
figure it out.
Westworld, and nothing makes sense, and you're trying to make connections that simply aren't there.
This is the only show on Grind City Media, I think, that's going to invoke Martin Short and Steve Martin while talking about Ja last night.
Probably. I think you bring up a greater point outside of just us talking about Ja and the Grizzlies last night. This is a people problem now. Like, every single thing that happens needs to be solved in this world.
It's also, the problem is that we all have a platform now.
Correct.
We've been given a thing where you can hold this thing up and talk out loud to
as
many people as you want.
The other person who decided to speak
and there's
to
no fact
thousands of
checking.
people.
There's no, you didn't, a lot of these people, I'm assuming, haven't taken journalism 101 or other classes where you might learn how to balance things and how to ask proper questions.
Yeah.
And so it's just throwing stuff out there. And if it's not true, I tried, whatever. Yeah. We could also make a larger connection to things happening in our world right now, but we don't need to go there.
We don't need to go there. The Grizzlies won last night. Jaren's an all-star. Before I let you go, any obvious snubs for you?
I knew Jaren was going to make the team. When I was driving here last night, and I knew I was going to have to change the warm-up show thing based on if Jaren made it or not. And they were doing the announcements, and they announced the East team first. And when LaMelo Ball and Trae Young didn't make it, I knew Jaren was going to make it on the West, because it showed me the coaches were going to reward winning. And they took 2 guys who aren't on very good teams, who've struggled this year, guys who kind of put up a lot of numbers, but don't really affect winning with their teams that much this season. And they took those guys and didn't put them on the team. So I was like, all right, Jaren's going to make it. It kind of sucks for Domantas Sabonis. Like, I thought for the West, he's probably the most deserving who didn't make it out of that group of guys. In the East, like, I don't really have a problem with LaMelo or Trae Young not making it.
Trey said it's no longer getting snubbed, it's getting trade at this point.
I saw that, He was like, don't worry, my fans.
Which
It'll
made
be
me
fine.
laugh. The one that I didn't think about at first, but then seeing others mention just how good he's been this year. Kyrie Irving has had a really tremendous season in Dallas. But again, this is what happens with all-star games. People get left out.
Is Dallas the team? Norm Powell was the other guy I wanted to make it. I mean, I get Harden's, a star. But Norman Powell's been awesome for the Clippers this year. And I saw some stat the other day in terms of efficiency in the NBA. It's like Jokic, Giannis, and then Norm Powell, the top 3 players. Is Dallas the best record team that doesn't have an all-star? Probably.
Yeah.
In the West, for sure, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I was just looking through.
I think
that's why you had to have Şengün.
Yeah,
the Rockets
for
had,
sure.
That's where the Sabonis, Jaren, Şengün debate.
Yeah.
You would take.
Even though
Grizzlies and the
Sabonis is, I
Rockets
think, is
having
leaving the league in
representation.
rebounds per game.
Yeah.
Like Sabonis has been awesome.
He's been incredible.
But
who do you always have to measure it with who gets knocked off.
There was a list, I think The Athletic did theirs the other day, and they didn't have Jaren on there. And I was like, well, how do you not have the 3rd best team in the toughest conference not have a player on the All-Star team, right?
Yeah.
Same with Oklahoma City. Like, you got to have Shea, and then is there somebody else you're going to have in there? And Jalen Williams ended up making it. Anthony Davis is hurt right now, so like he might end up not playing in the All-Star game, in which case Sabonis might end up getting put on. In the East, I don't know if somebody else makes it. LaMelo didn't make it, but he's hurt too, so he might not have played anyway. But I don't know. I thought for the most part the coaches, at least they had an ethos, right? Like they were like, if you win, you make the All-Star game. If you don't, you're probably not making the All-Star game.
A trend.
Yeah.
That you could follow.
And at least it followed that way across both conferences.
All right, Lang, I hope you go solve the murder mystery this weekend.
I got parent-teacher meetings this morning. I got some other things to solve.
Are you excited? Or do you hate parent-teacher conferences?
No, it'll be fine.
Are they just normal?
Yeah.
They're
pretty regular.
Thought about parent-teacher conferences in a long
Yeah,
time. Do you do them once a semester?
Yeah. And today is the one where my son is actually in charge of the meeting, because they like the 6th graders, they try to like put you, like give you a more of a responsibility to it. So like he's got to run the meeting between me and my wife and his teacher.
I think the most loser-ish thing I can say about myself.
This is going to be good.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
Loved parent-teacher conferences.
Yeah.
Loved them.
Because you knew why? Because you knew the teachers were going to tell your parents.
I knew the teachers were going to tell them what a good student I was.
Yeah.
Like nothing boosted me up more in the eyes of my parents than a good old parent-teacher conference.
Did you ever have a bad parent-teacher conference?
No.
Ever?
No. My one bad class ever, I joke about it all the time. I got a C in home ec in 8th grade. And I got a worse grade.
That tells you everything you need to know right there.
That tells me everything you need to know. I got a worse grade on a pair of boxer shorts that I had to sew than people who didn't finish their boxer shorts.
You had to sew them from scratch?
From scratch. You had a template. But you had to go get fabric from, I don't know if you guys had Joann's fabric, but you picked out your fabric and made a pair of boxer shorts, and mine were a little uneven, I'll be honest. And the elastic band might not have worked, but that's fine.
Does Chris make them work now?
But you didn't have to go to, no, they're long. Actually, they're probably
No, I mean
safe.
the ones you make for your husband now.
Yes, I'm trying to become more of a trad wife, so I'm going to learn how to bake sourdough. I'm going to learn how to make boxers again.
When you're making dinner for your husband.
And you make a great hot sauce that I learned how to make in that class.
In that class?
Yes. You know, that's the little things. But there was never a conference for electives. Like that. Like
True,
my
yeah.
parents didn't have to go and listen to, hey, your daughter might not be equipped to be a woman. She
I had to
might
take,
be missing
when I was in
some
12th
basic
grade, I took
skills.
home ec because I had to take a elective, and I had to fill my thing. I know we gotta get her. And one of my buddies was in the class from the basketball team, and so we were partners in the class. And the teacher says, all right, guys, we're gonna learn how to make mayonnaise today. We're gonna make mayonnaise, and you know, there's it's an emulsion, da-da-da. And my friend just got up and started walking out. And she goes, excuse me, what are you doing? And he goes, I don't F with mayonnaise. And just left. That's been one of my favorite phrases of my life ever since. Except he didn't say F, he said the real word. But it was great.
All right, we'll catch up with
Let's
you
get
next
out of here.
week.
Yeah,
we'll
see
see
how this
you
goes.
Monday, Grizzlies Spurs. We'll be right back at it.
Yeah.
For another
See you
one.
then.
And Grizzlies Bucks on Sunday at the same time as the Grammys. I'll be multitasking. We'll take a quick break. We will come back, wrap all this up on Grizzlies Rockets. Also some big news in the state as Nashville has submitted a bid for a WNBA franchise. It's going to be called The Summit in honor of Pat Summit. I love it. We'll get into that, some Music Friday, what we're listening to going into the weekend when we come back.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's gonna be crazy. The fans are gonna be loud. We need just energy.
Back to Jared for the
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane three. Yes, sir. Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
A night of comedy with Sebastian Maniscalco and Jim Gaffigan.
Now, is this a family? Is this your mother? Where is she? Is she in the crowd? You don't know where your mom is. The mom's up there. What kind of family is this? I'm sorry.
Sebastian Maniscalco and Jim Gaffigan.
I went ziplining for the last time. What is wrong with us? Would you pay $200 to feel like you're about to die 6 times?
Live in Memphis, FedEx Forum, Friday, February 21st. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Who would you be excited to meet?
Don't met him, the greatest coach of all time.
Who was that?
Nick Saban.
And Saban knew who you were?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he knew who I was.
That's amazing.
Saban come on, man. He said, I'm proud of what y'all doing.
And that meant the world to me and Willie. But look, I'm going to tell you.
That meant the world to me.
I bet.
Coming from the greatest coach of all time. Let's go.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Derrick Rose was honored in Chicago this weekend.
That was cool.
Former Memphis Tiger. One of the things I've noticed about him, he's immensely respected by his peers.
Yes.
People love him. People love Derrick Rose. I don't know exactly how to pinpoint it, but he matters to people. The impact that guy made in his hometown, on that franchise, and just on basketball in general, he deserves. There ain't an honor you could give him that I would argue with.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
If I was a high school player, or if, let's say I'm the father of a child who's 16 years old, and Mike Vick comes knocking on my kid's door, and Virginia's there also, and so is Virginia Tech, I'm like, yo, you gotta go where Vick is. You gotta go to Norfolk State. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning into HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
What was your favorite parent-teacher conference
So
moment of all time?
So many good ones. Senior brings up the time that for a summer, like they were trying to kick me out of NBA, and we were trying to figure out if we should just leave or if we should stay. By we, I mean me. So we met with the headmaster like 4 times one summer, which is a pretty epic sort of parent-teacher conference. But the one I'm gonna go with, I don't know if Senior remembers this. He's listening. 2nd grade, they come home after meeting with my teacher. I didn't know they had a parent-teacher conference. I'm in 2nd grade. I'm not paying much attention. I'm out in the yard playing, fighting Foot Clan members. I'm a Ninja Turtle. I got a stick because we didn't have any sort of electronics. Had to use your imagination. So I'm getting it in with the stick. They make me put the stick down and come and talk to them. And that is the worst thing. I do not want to. My whole life has been spent avoiding talking to the people in charge. Even to this day, I don't talk to my bosses now. And it's not because I dislike them. It's because I don't want to talk to people in charge. I want to just go do CJ stuff. Pull me to the side. CJ, stop being CJ for a minute. We need to have a conversation with you. At the time, if I got a bad grade, I would break down and cry because I wanted A's and bad grade, right? Like if I made a B, I'm full on snot running from my nostrils crying. I wanted to make good grades, right? I wanted to make not good grades. I wanted to make A's. I wanted to be the best in the class. Yeah. I had to be the best at everything in the class. So I was doing that. I wasn't paying attention in classes because I'm working on other stuff, doing CJ stuff, right? Like, I'm making good grades, doing CJ stuff. I'm fighting people for stepping to me the wrong way, right? Like, it's some aggression there. It's some aggression there. And my parents are confronting me about some of these things. I'm answering them. And then it's, why don't you smile in your pictures? Like, we don't think you're happy. Like, well, pull out daddy's driver's license. He's not smiling in his picture. Check in, checkmate. I'm fine. Can I go play now? No. Why are you crying in class so much? Well, I get frustrated sometimes when I don't make A's. Check in, checkmate. We got a child who wants to do good. We just got to rein that in a little bit. Hey, CJ, why do you color everything in black? Because that was the last thing. I'm coloring everything in black. I'm breaking down crying. I'm not smiling. Why are you coloring everything in black? Well, all right, so I don't color inside the lines real well. The borders are black, so when I mess up, I can just change the border with my black crayon and nobody knows. Mm-hmm. Also, my favorite color is black. So, like, it's cool. Why is your favorite color black? My favorite color is black because it covers up all the other colors, and I like that shit, right? So if I color something green, I don't like the green, bow, just hit it with some black, and you don't even know the green is there. 3, black is my favorite color. I'm black, you black, you black. Why don't you like black? CJ, get the hell away from me. Go play. Leave us alone. Go. I was like, okay, fine. So that was the one that I won. I was good after that parent. That's my favorite parent-teacher conference moment.
Your dad in the chat said, I'm a soldier. I don't smile.
What do you want me to do? I'm in that house. I'm living with that man. What do you want me to do? Just smile in the second grade? No. I was hard.
This is like a nice little connect to the Ja thing, and I did want to get your take on it because I saw you over there and you didn't have a chance to get a word in. I felt for him last night as a woman. Because what are we told all the time?
Hey, you just gotta smile.
Hey,
just smile.
Hey, baby girl.
You'd
be a lot prettier if you smiled.
So much prettier.
You'd be a lot cuter if you smiled. Hey, smile more. I literally wanted to shake people and be like, some people don't need to smile at every moment. Like, you never know what's totally going on, but my God. Lang nailed it. I love the only murders in the building, and it really is a deeper, everybody has a mystery that they want to solve at any given moment, and I get it. There's a natural curiosity, and of course, like, people want this team to be in a good space, and everyone knows that this team operates at its best when Ja Morant is at its best, and he's a driving factor in the Grizzlies' attempt to go win a championship or have the ability to even flirt with winning a championship this season. But people need to take a breather. Just a little breather. Did you think anything of it last night, CJ? I know you were watching on TV, so different experience.
Yeah, so they show him. Because I didn't think he was in the building. I was like, oh, he's injured. He's probably not there. They had shown the bench. He wasn't on the front row like he usually is. Usually Ja is on the front row, standing damn near the whole time, right? Just a whole ball of energy. It's like, oh, this injury must really be doing a number on him. Like, mentally is where I immediately went. He wants to play. This is a nationally televised game. This is a big game. He's hurt because I know he's got the rabbit ears. Got to put those away. He's got the rabbit ears. He wants to be out there playing in this moment because you brought it up yesterday. Like, he loves these types of moments where people are doubting him. He gets to put the chip on the shoulder and go out and show everybody what the hell it is that Ja Morant is. And then they showed him on the bench in the shiesty, not showing his face. It's like, oh, he does not want to be there. And the way I took it was, I know absolutely nothing about what's going on with this team. I don't be at the practices. I'm not in the locker room. So this is just me recklessly speculating. I saw a competitor who was upset he wasn't able to go out there and compete. Yes. And he wasn't able to enjoy the moment like he usually is with his teammates. Mm-hmm. Because he is so frustrated. You think he doesn't know? It's been forever since he's played 5 games in a row. You think he doesn't know what the record is against teams over 500? You think he doesn't know what the record is against teams in the West? Do you think he doesn't know what the record is against the good teams? He thinks of himself as a great player. Whether he says it or not, I can tell by his body language, as I play detective, he thinks of himself as one of the best players, if not the best player in the NBA, and he looks forward to showcasing that every single game. Every single game, particularly the ones where all the eyeballs are on them. You think he hadn't heard from Dylan Brooks? You think they hadn't texted one another? Like, you think they hadn't, like, playfully jabbed once or twice back and forth a little
You think
bit.
he hasn't heard the talk about the Rockets and how good Jalen Green has been
Yeah,
over
you
the
think he
stretch?
doesn't
How
wanna get-
Steven Adams has called Amen Thompson the most athletic player he's ever played with.
He's heard all of. He wants to be out
I know.
there. So
That's
maybe,
where my hypothesizing went.
Maybe
as well.
maybe there are a lot of other things going on. Maybe there are some frustrations with some other stuff happening. Sure, why not? But that frustration is always there, isn't it? As a player, where you're trying to like figure out one, where you belong in the system, and two, how to best be optimized in the system that you're in. So that's always going to be there. That's going to ebb and flow throughout the course of the season. What isn't always there, and when it is always there, becomes super frustrating, is when your body lets you down because you're helpless in that moment. I can change my game.
You want to be out there, but if your body is not allowing you to, and I am not comparing these two situations, I'm just reminding people there are so many things that go in to decisions on if a player can play. We just had the quote from Zion Williamson yesterday saying he would love to play back-to-backs, but he plays for the Pelicans. And for the safety and security of Zion's body, they have deemed it not the best option for Zion Williamson to play back-to-backs right now. At some point between the Knicks game and the Rockets game last night, Ja Morant had something happen with his shoulder where he was not good enough to go on a nationally televised game. And again, I just always go back to, we have watched Ja over the last few years. There is no part of me that believes Ja is ducking an opportunity to go out and make a statement, especially coming off of a game like the one on Monday at Madison Square Garden. And he didn't have the opportunity to do that. So just like you should stop telling women to smile more.
You can change a lot of stuff in this life.
Yes.
Health isn't one of those sometimes, right? Like I can control as a basketball player, I can control where I am on the court. I can have conversations with the coaches and try and figure out how to best be utilized. Like we can do that sort of thing. I can figure out a whole lot of different things. Why my shot isn't falling, I can just get in the gym and practice and bring the shot back. If I'm getting beat defensively, I can watch film, work on my defensive technique, right? There's a lot of things in your control as an athlete. One of those things sometimes that's not in your control is health. And I think him and that shiesty on the bench last night was him being frustrated because there's something he can't control, even though he desperately wants to be out there.
And I'm going to, it's probably a controversial thing to say, health as in physical health, sometimes you can't perfectly control your mental health either. And he has been open about, having some struggles with mental health, and I hate when we do this. When somebody lets in a light of, I've had struggles with mental health, then people are so quick to be, oh, it's a mental health issue. Like, oh, there's something going on. Sometimes it's just being a human and going through the ebbs and flows of disappointment and wanting to do things that you can't do, and maybe a night not going the way that you anticipated it to, and figuring out how to. There is no perfect way to respond to disappointment in your life. And so navigating the ebbs and flows of what that looks like. I just think we could all be a lot less critical on how people act, react, and the only thing I needed to hear yesterday was Taylor Jenkins saying it didn't bother him, his teammate saying it didn't bother him, and watching him stick around to dap up Jaren on his way off the court and support his teammate who was just named an All-Star and who helped lead his team to a big win against the Rockets on national TV. It's not like he just disappeared.
I mean, he could have.
And even if he could have.
He could have.
But I'm just saying, like, those are all, if you want to solve a mystery, read all the clues.
Had another parent-teacher conference. Because I made like my first C or something like that. And after that conference, my parents decided, hey, you're not playing in the football game this week. Heartbroken, devastated. I went out there and put my best face forward that I could for my teammates. But like at the end of the day, I didn't want to be there because I couldn't help them. I felt so helpless at 10 or 11. Low stakes when you compare the two, but I felt helpless out there. Like I've let people down, and grades is something that I can control. I can't imagine how I would have felt if I had a bum shoulder or a messed up knee or something like that. I wouldn't be smiling in that situation either. In fact, I'd be more dejected because like that's outside of my control. Yeah. And for Ja, it's like, I want to play. I want to play. I want to play. Physically, my body's not allowing me to. What can I do? I can only do so many different damn stretches. I can only do so many damn calisthenics. Sometimes this stuff is just goofy. Me running down the court, clipping somebody's heel, and now I got a messed up ankle, and now I'm out again. I got to worry about that and work through the rehab of that. To see him go out there, even though he's very clearly upset about something, but stay to dap Jaren up, and I'm sure that he had encouraging words to say to people in the locker room. Like that means that it's not them related. It's something else, and it's my guess is his health.
Oh, that locker room. They said it was a fun one last night. They needed that. They deserve that. They'll go. They'll play the Bucks on Sunday, and then the Spurs on Monday. What are you looking at?
I don't know if they deserved.
Why are you looking
I don't
like
know if
that?
they deserved it. You did your job. Now it's time.
Fine,
Now it's time.
celebrate the win and then move on.
What do
we
we
don't
do?
treat it like the Super Bowl.
What do we do in times of
treat it
great?
like a championship.
What do we do in times of great success? Chop wood, carry water.
God.
Come on, let's go. The standard is the standard, man.
Allow yourself to enjoy a win and then immediately turn to the next.
How long is that
It's gonna be
enjoyment?
okay.
It's over, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. The
All right, it's
time's
over.
over.
All right.
It's not like they're
So they've enjoyed it.
popping
Stop.
bottles at 9 a.m.
Back to hey. The
They
grind,
got a flight to catch.
The grind don't
the
stop.
grind, I don't know if you know this.
The grind don't stop.
But we are always back to the grind. You might forget.
Ever
but I'll never
grinding.
forget.
I have an infinite grind.
I got to walk into this building for a whole year and be met with back to the grind.
Always grinding.
I just never forgot.
Never forget the grind.
Never forget.
Keep the grind in mind.
Couple notables from last night that just stuck out to me. I turned on SportsCenter this morning because I wanted to see how they covered the Grizzlies Rockets game. Never got to it because I don't have the attention span and I was trying to cut my own highlights for this morning's show. Vanderbilt women's basketball was the second story of the night. One of their players, Mikayla Blakes, set the new SEC women's basketball scoring record. She had 53 points for Vanderbilt. I wanted to ask Lang how it feels to have Georgia be worse than Vanderbilt in both men's and women's basketball, but didn't have the opportunity. This came on the same night that the LSU-Oklahoma game was the first women's SEC game in history where both teams scored 100-plus points in regulation. LSU won 107-100. If you missed the viral clip of Kim Mulkey whacking the clipboard out of Simone Augustus's hands, I suggest you go and see that. And everyone's like, LSU assistant coach Simone Augustus. I'm like, you mean WNBA great four-time champion Simone Augustus? Like, are we talking about the same Simone Augustus? We are.
I saw that clip. Oh, hold up. Is that Simone?
Yes.
I know like hell she didn't slap it out. And Simone's reaction is so good. She's got the clipboard. Mulkey slaps it out of her hand, and she just, what? Oh, well, it's out now. Like, just shoulder shrug. Like, I don't know if she think I'm picking it up. That's some good stuff, man. SEC women's basketball getting a little out of control a little bit.
And I guess we
Exciting.
did not appropriately give the kudos to the University of Memphis men's basketball team that did beat Tulane in New Orleans for the first time since 2020. It had been a minute. My guy, Ron Hunter, had been responsible for some disappointing times against the Tigers earlier this season. He said that UAB was the toughest team on the conference schedule for Tulane, and Memphis was able to go in there, win 68-56. It was not always apparent that they were going to win that game last night. It was close as I continuously kind of kept my eyeballs on it. Bennett had it on his small screen next to me, and then I had it on a secondary browser window on my computer. But it did feel like every time I caught gameplay, Dane Danger was doing something. He had another double-double, 19 and 10. They took a picture with glow sticks after the win, the glow sticks that the Tulane student section had used. And at least for one night, everyone can say, Beal over bourbon.
Good for them.
Why? You're not pleased?
I'm not pleased about any win in
Did the damn job.
Chop wood, carry water. On to the next one, baby.
Chop wood, carry water.
Chop wood, carry water. You can't get me excited about a win. You're supposed to beat Tulane. Now you got me excited. You're not supposed to have losing streaks in New Orleans to Tulane. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, you don't.
You
That's
don't get you don't get rewarded. You don't get a pat on the back from me, an attaboy from me for beating Tulane out here in these streets. Are you kidding me? You beat UAB.
Kidding me?
Are you
Are
Jacob?
you
Shut
me?
the hell up talking to me, Jacob.
What did Jacob say?
Jacob said they beat UAB. Like you're not getting any credit from me for doing the shit you're supposed to do. There it is. I tried to catch it. Now I'm mad. Like, get out of here. You go from making an F to a D plus, and I'm supposed to be like, hey, you've improved. No, stop it. Keep this going. You've got things you want to achieve. Jacob's over here yelling about an Elite Eight. And it's like, how, where, why do you feel that way? I don't understand. No. You've got to do the things you got to do, and you got to do the things you're supposed to do. You're supposed to beat Tulane.
You're hurting my ear.
I didn't want to. I said good, and then you chastised me.
It's better than the alternative. 10 games left. Can they chop wood, carry water? CW squared. Coming up on the CW, it's CW. You look evil.
Y'all make me this way.
Last
I'm supposed to be out here excited.
notable note, we sideswiped the Derrick Rozier and the Justin Tucker, two very different stories yesterday, but just two more examples of January. We've gone through a lot this January. One anecdote, this is a true story on Justin Tucker. I once had an agent who told me, no matter what, when you're talking about anyone, and in the case of being in sports media, you're primarily talking about athletes, but this could be about actors, musicians, politicians, whatever. Never definitively speak on someone's character. Like, even if you know the person, just save yourself the egg on your face from definitively saying, like, I know that's a good guy. I know that's a good woman. I know that's a good person. And it'll just free you from the potential of them doing something really, really bad. And you have to be like, well, actually, I didn't really know this person. I remember talking to a class at some point, and I was sharing that story. And for whatever reason, the Ravens were in my forward mentals at the moment. And I think it was that story had just come out where Justin Tucker, as an opera singer, maybe CBS Sunday Morning did one on it, whatever. He was in my brain for whatever reason. And I told the class the story about never speaking on a character. And I'm like, you just never know. Like, Justin Tucker could be a bad dude. Ha ha ha, he he he. Justin Tucker are we saying he's under investigation? Is that the appropriate terminology?
I'm not sure.
The Baltimore newspaper came out with allegations. Accused. He's not under investigation.
Yeah.
He's been accused.
So has anybody sued or
of
stepped forward or anything? Or are they
on,
just saying, hey, he did this?
I think it's just allegations of inappropriate behavior at massage parlors.
Yeah.
So is there a spa? We don't need to call them massage parlors anymore. It's a spa.
What's wrong with the phrase massage parlor?
I don't know. It sounds weird. Deshaun Watson has made me rethink everything when it comes to massages.
I'm sure the Browns need a kicker. They love that in the locker room.
Tough.
Not to make light, as I begin to make light, can you imagine having to be the masseuse of the Cleveland Browns with Justin Tucker and Deshaun Watson?
No.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And it's not going to happen.
That's terrible.
It's not going to happen.
What do you mean it's not going to happen?
No, it's not going to happen because Justin Tucker was bad this season.
Because the Browns are known for making good decisions as it pertains to these types of things. The Browns have good talent scouts.
All right, we have to take a break, but real quick, the WNBA might be coming to Nashville. It's really warm in here. I feel like I'm sweating bullets. And I didn't wear a hoodie, but I still can't take off this damn sweatshirt. I should have just worn a t-shirt. We went from this studio being the coldest place on earth to now it's got to be like 75 degrees in here. It's a balmy 75 in the studio. Anyway, Bill and Chrissy Haslam and partners have submitted a bid for a WNBA franchise in Tennessee. It would be in Nashville. The bid was submitted yesterday to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and the league's expansion committee. Should the bid be successful, the Tennessee franchise would begin play in the summer of 2028 at Bridgestone Arena. And the expectation is that they would go by the Tennessee Summit in honor of Tennessee legend, one of the greatest figures in basketball history, particularly women's basketball history, Pat Summitt. Love the name. Love that there could be a WNBA team in the state.
Candace Parker is a part of the ownership group as well. Love that. Like a WNBA team, 2.5, 3 hours away. Sign me up. I like that. And I think Nashville could do some really cool things for the WNBA. I like it. I hope they get it. Really excited about it. We were texting with Teresa Walker yesterday as that news came out, and she offered some thoughts to us as well. Like I really want a WNBA team closer than, what's the closest one? The Dream? The Wing?
The Dream would be the closest.
The Wing? Okay, how far is
Atlanta's closer than Dallas.
Dallas? So, like, I want one.
Indiana's actually low-key not that far.
Like, I want one close, and to have one that close will be fun. The Tennessee Summit, I love the name, love Pat Summitt and what all she stood for and all the good that she did for the game of basketball. Yeah, this is fun. This to me, for me, would be more exciting than the the MSL team that they got, the fact that they're trying to go out and get an MLB team also, right? Like, this is more exciting than those two things for me.
Yeah, without dumping on Major League Baseball, like the trajectory of professional baseball right now in popularity, I'll be kind and put it at a line, but the trajectory of women's basketball in the WNBA right now is at a straight up on a graph. So it would be an exciting time to capitalize. 2028, a couple years away, but the WNBA in the midst of expansion, have the new Golden State team, have the new, is it Toronto in Canada? Toronto team that's coming out as well. Will be interesting to see if there's another one that gets added to the mix. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We will do some Music Friday. What we are listening to going into the weekend. The Grammys are this weekend. They have no short of 90 bajillion performers that have already been rumored to be popping up at the ceremonies on Sunday. We'll get into some predictions from that, plus what we're listening to when we come back.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Morant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering, to those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Is Hulkamania officially dead?
Yes.
When you have over 17,000 people live and you have Netflix premiere the biggest day in WWE history, and meanwhile they boo him out of the building?
Hulk Hogan, I'm coming for you!
That is your core audience, and they don't want it.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
This team is doing everything that Taylor Jenkins and his coaching staff envisioned it could do.
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
While we were in a break, we got an ESPN notification. Talks around moving Marcus Smart have increased in recent weeks ahead of trade deadline. Bontemps and Windhorse for ESPN+. What is this music?
It's the allegedly music, just reportedly. So we're talking about a Grizzlies player. We're talking about trade stuff.
It's alleged.
It's reported and alleged.
It's hypothetical.
Yeah.
There's no real truth. There's just an idea, a concept of a plan. Remember concepts of a plan?
Oh boy.
These are concepts of a plan.
Have those concepts been executed?
Oh.
No, what?
I liked it better when they were concepts of a plan, personally. Can we go back to that part? According to the reporting, ESPN Plus has their latest on multiple teams and the outlook going into next week's trade deadline. Windhorst said Memphis is a little different from OKC and Houston because it's a more mature contender, though its window remains plenty open. Love an open window. The Grizzlies could end up being a top 2 seed for the third time in the past 4 seasons. Their core players are a couple years older. They've already locked them into long-term deals, meaning the Grizzlies have the most expensive roster of this trio, but are not yet at the point of facing apron trouble. They're in great shape with picks, having all their first plus a couple swaps. They've been significantly more active than the Thunder and Rockets in trade discussions, and it makes sense. They've had more playoff battle scars. These battle scars. Then Tim Bontemps went on. One Memphis player to watch over the next week is guard Marcus Smart. League sources told me there's been plenty of discussion about the former Defensive Player of the Year. With more than 100 playoff games under his belt, Smart could be an interesting option for playoff teams. Blah, 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 blah. Smart's absence has created opportunities for young players such as Rookie of the Year contender Jaylen Wells, Gigi Jackson, and Vince Williams Jr. Memphis would also potentially benefit from opening up salary next summer to both get a contract extension done with Jaren Jackson Jr. and re-sign Santi Aldama. That all makes Smart's situation one to monitor. The quote from one league exec, "I wouldn't be surprised if he gets moved for less than everyone might have thought a few months ago." I don't think Grizzlies fans would be happy if it got moved for beans.
I mean, Grizzlies fans want as much as they can
rice.
get. I will say.
What's the price of rice these days?
Oh no, I didn't hear people.
Tariffs,
I didn't hear people complaining about that.
No,
and there aren't tariffs on rice because we grow that in like Louisiana.
We're
Like,
good.
it's
That's
around the
American
corner.
made.
Yeah, we got that. That's good to go. I can't think of a team who's been a legitimate title contender and won an NBA title without going into the tax. So it's cool that you're trying to stay under it. But at a certain point, when are you pushing everything, all the chips to the center of the table? I'm not saying it has to be right now.
Right.
But if history has shown anything, at some point, you've got to push it all in there. You got to say, okay, we'll go into one apron. Don't do the second apron. That second apron is, oh boy. But that first apron, like, okay, we might have to get into that.
It is such a testament to how good Luke Kennard has been over the last couple of weeks. He was very much in conversations, in the reported, in the alleges, in the hypotheticals. And now I don't think you can move on from him. He's been critical for this team. And if you're getting that version of Luke Kennard, that is highly valuable for this team's aspirations this season. Marcus Smart, it will be a victim of not being able to be on the court and not having strong fingers.
Not being able to be on the court, sure. And also, even with him, if
we haven't. I refuse to
happened,
make sweeping statements of even with him because we haven't seen it.
Feel like contenders? Feel like somebody who's going to the NBA Finals? Because I'm not sure. Even with him, I feel like the general feeling would be, all right, we're really, really close. We need something else. Now that something could be continued growth and improvement from Jaren John Dez, right? But there's something else missing.
Right, and because we haven't seen the collective improvement of Jaren John and Dez with Marcus Smart, I'm able to convince myself the best version of Marcus Smart could be what's the number one need for this group?
Another perimeter defender and a backup
big,
point guard.
Physical wing defender and somebody who can handle the ball. What is Marcus Smart in theory?
Yeah.
All of those things.
Right.
But
you're going into the tax for that. You're going into the tax for that
no,
thought.
But I'm saying
because
then this is a pre-move and you're evaluating it from
don't you
the
think that you kind of have? I don't like having these conversations, but don't you feel like you got to keep Santi after this year? Because I do. I think you have to keep him.
Oh, my heart. Christy Wellburn in the chat says that her husband and she sing this song to each other whenever trade rumors come up. Honestly, it's better than anything that I could ever ask. The imprint that I want us to leave on society.
Well, I mean, let's start it from the top and turn it up.
It is Music Friday.
Just for Christy. This goes out to Christy and Christy's husband. Yeah. This is being reported, y'all. It's alleged. Allegedly. Not saying it's true. Not saying it's false. It's reported, y'all. Hit the note, y'all. Allegedly. Reportedly. It's alleged. Reported. What don't we want? We don't want no fines. You better hit that run. What we not doing? We not trying to tamper. Allegedly. Reportedly. Everybody at home, please don't fine me for tampering. Allegedly.
No tampering. No tampering.
That was just for Chrissy and her husband. Special dedication. Where's my damn Grammy, Jessica?
Maybe you'll get it on Sunday.
I can perform.
Is there anyone in this laundry list of potential performers for the Grammys, and there's apparently even more who will be added,
Good Lord,
that you are most excited to see? Would you like to see? I don't know if you know, the Grammys are now a concert. We will be getting performances from Benson Boone, Billie Eilish, Brad Paisley, Brittany Howard, Chappell Roan, Charlie XCX, Chris Martin of Coldplay. I love that they put Chris Martin of Coldplay because we're now at a point in time where you don't just know who Chris Martin is. It has to be Chris Martin of Coldplay. Cynthia Erivo.
Chris Martin.
Cynthia Erivo. If she's not singing Defying Gravity, what are we doing? Doechii. I can't wait for Doechii. Herbie Hancock. Jacob Collier. Those aren't real people. Janelle Monáe. John Legend. Lainey Wilson. Ray, Sabrina Carpenter, Shakira, Sheryl Crow, St. Vincent, Stevie Wonder, and Teddy Swims. I have been really heavy on the Teddy Swims album.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Really enjoying it.
I mean, hell, a list this long, how can you not find somebody to be excited about?
If you can't find one person, the Grammys are desperately trying to market to
everybody.
Just one of these people is going to make you want to watch our broadcast. Just one of them.
Okay, Chappell Roan is on there. Okay, just want to make sure.
We didn't see Chappell Roan like really leveled. Like she was everywhere all at once. And then she had her, I don't know if I want to be famous.
Leave me the hell alone.
Leave me alone, which is fine. But I'm excited because we haven't seen her in a minute. I'm probably most excited for Doechii. This is an exciting time. And I realized I haven't listened to the Wicked soundtrack in a minute. And so I wouldn't hate listening to Cynthia Erivo either.
Do listen to it in a minute, but you've listened to it how many times over the course of your lifetime?
I haven't listened to it in the new year.
Hundreds?
Oh, over the course. Like,
millions?
But that's not the Cynthia Erivo
Thousands?
version.
Okay.
I've listened to Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth hundreds of times.
Okay.
And now I've probably listened to Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande like 8 times.
8?
Probably. Maybe more.
I feel
Probably
like
more.
800.
It might be 800. Who's going to win Album of the Year? Andre 3000 for his flute album, Make It Happen.
I can't believe that one got on there.
I said it when it came out, and I have to finish the run with this. If Cowboy Carter doesn't win Album of the Year, I'm boycotting Monday's show.
Okay.
I'm boycotting Monday's show.
So
shut up, Jacob.
Jacob says they're going to give it to Taylor Swift. Listen, Sabrina Carpenter or
Billie Eilish's album was great.
Chappell Roan, I think.
Brant was great.
I'm going to go with Chappell Roan.
It was a great. Oh, I'm so sorry for the disrespect, Jacob Collier. I didn't know you were nominated for Album of the Year. Unfamiliar with your work. I actually think Best New Artist is fascinating. It'll probably go to Chappell Roan, but Doechii would be right in there. And Sabrina Carpenter. But Sabrina doesn't feel like a new artist. I feel like Sabrina's been here.
So is Chappell Roan. Who?
Oh, yeah. Khruangbin.
Okay.
They just headlined Austin City Limits. They're big.
All right. Song of the Year.
All the Boys Choose Tipsy. That song just really hit the men.
Tipsy? The little,
they love that song. Not you.
No.
The other men.
Good Luck, Babe for
Great
song of the Year.
I mean, Not Like Us has a run.
Yeah, they're not going to give that to a rapper.
I've decided I want Kendrick Lamar's halftime show, and we will be drafting our dream Kendrick Lamar. We'll build a set list for Kendrick Lamar next week, as we do before every Super Bowl. All I want is for him to do Not Like Us like 6 times in a row. Like he did at that show in LA. I think it'd be so funny. I know they won't, but it would be fantastic theater if they did. Yeah, we'll
Record
see.
of the year.
That's where I feel like
That's a tough one. Why are the Beatles even on there? Get that legacy thing out of here.
they're dead.
Jacob is saying Espresso. I don't know. I think Good Luck Babe there. I think it's going to be a big night for Chapel.
It's like I don't need Beyonce to win for Texas Hold'em. Let me be clear. That's probably my least favorite song on the album.
Yeah.
I just need her to win for the album.
Tyrant is like put Tyrant on there. Show some courage, Grammys. Put the one about riding on there.
Did you listen to anything this morning that dropped?
Teddy Swim's album dropped last
Yeah.
Friday. And I had heard, was it him and Lucky Day, him and Giveon? Giveon. I heard the song with he and Giveon, thinking, oh, this is a cool new song. Didn't realize the album had already dropped. So I went and listened to it. I'm about midway through it.
I really like the song before that song. I think it's called Bad Dreams.
All right, do you have them pulled up in front? The first 3 songs.
Not Your Man, Funeral, You're Kind of Crazy.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Not Your Man. If I know a song is good if I make the stank face. I made the stank face the entire time I was listening to that song. His voice is so wonderful because it's smooth, it's warm, it's bluegrass, it's country, it's got some soul to it. So depending on what the music is doing in the background, his voice doesn't change, but the music determines, hey, what is this? Is wonderful. It is a beautiful blend of notes, and it hits my eardrums in a really warm place. I really, really enjoy this.
I listened
What's it called?
to the whole album.
It is called I've
tried
everything but therapy, right?
Yes, everything but therapy. Part 2.
2, yeah.
Part 2. You should
Great
all try
album.
therapy.
Great
Therapy's great. We love therapy. I did listen to a little bit of the new Weekend album that dropped, Hurry Up Tomorrow. It's part 3 of his trilogy, only because I saw somebody talking about how good of a song it's called Open Hearts is, and I listened to it, and I was very distracted this morning. But I did really like it, and I look forward to diving into that album in full. It is 1 hour and 25-minute album. It's a long-ass album, The Weeknd. So I'll give that whole thing a listen this weekend.
Oh, you were talking about The Weeknd. Got you.
Ladies and gentlemen, The Weeknd. Did you see that Twitter account's going away?
The Weeknd?
You know the one that just plays the clip of, was it Daniel Craig saying, ladies and gentlemen, The Weeknd. And every Friday they post the clip of, and this will be the first Friday that we don't have, ladies and gentlemen, The Weeknd. It was when he hosted SNL. So he was introing, God, this is a Chronically Online moment that you're not a part of. Me and all my Chronically Online friends
Nobody else
will
gets
miss.
that reference.
That is not true.
Nobody. Jacob,
Chat,
do you get it?
Chat, help me out here.
Nobody else gets that.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Tell
The Weeknd.
Tell
if
Jacob
I say,
again.
ladies and gentlemen, The Weeknd, do you know what I'm talking about?
Nope. Jessica, this is just you.
We don't share cultural touch points anymore, and that worries me.
I don't think we shared as many as you think we did.
Jaylen knows.
Because he's a
That's
weirdo.
2 of 4, that's 50%.
You and Jaylen are the same damn person.
Great. You and Jacob are weirdos.
Are weirders?
Weirders. You're weirders. Speaking of weirders, I think I'm going to watch Amelia Perez this weekend. I think I'm going to do it.
Which one is she?
That's the one with the song. You just want me to sing it. I was singing it again last night before the Grizzlies-Rockets game, and Chris was like, you have to stop singing this song. I said, I can't, I won't be stopped.
I bet living with you was insufferable.
Why they chose the inflections on those syllables and those notes, the song doesn't make sense. It's a perfect cacophony of insanity.
You're a perfect cacophony of insanity.
That's me. See you tomorrow. I've slept like 3 hours. Of course I'm insanity.
In the show,
Bye.
Jessica. God.
I have to go do Gary's show anyway. I'm not going anywhere.